are 30 life cheat codes I now know in my 30s, but I wish I knew at 20. And honestly, they should be teaching this stuff in school. There is often so much pressure on us when we go out of high school, when we graduate college, to have everything figured out in our 20s. Our career, our relationship, our finances, even our life purpose. But the truth is that your 20s are just one chapter of your life. They are not the whole book. You do not have to have it all sorted out by the time that you finish your 20s, aka by the time you hit your 30s. And in reality, most people actually don't have it figured out. You know what's fascinating is that your brain's frontal lobe does not develop fully till you are 25. So before that, you are a literal child. And still, there is so much pressure to figure everything out. So I don't know what people are expecting, but this is not it. So instead of stressing out about having everything in place, embrace the fact that your 20s are a time for exploration. They're a time for making mistakes. They are a time for figuring out who you really are. This is your decade to try new things, to take risks, to learn from failures. You have time to pivot. You have time to change directions. You have time to reinvent yourself. That is what your 30s and your 40s are for. Like I said, this is the decade that is about setting yourself up for the future. You need to focus on habits, skills, experiences that will serve you in the long run. Whether it's your career, your finances, your relationships, or your personal development, think of your 20s as the time where you are laying down the foundation for everything that is to come into your life in the future, right? So this means you need to prioritize growth over comfort. You need to invest in learning new skills. You need to learn about how to save and manage your money. You need to develop a strong work ethic. It's absolutely okay to not know exactly where you want to go or exactly where you are. What matters is that you are planting the seeds for your future success. So how you approach your health, your work ethic, your capacity to work hard, your emotional resilience, these are the skills that you need to focus on in your 20s. Learn as much as you can, explore as much as you can, build as many skills as you can, experience as much as you can. This will shape the person that you become in your 30s and your 40s. Everything that I personally know today, all the success that I have, the freedom that I have, the clarity that I have is because I experimented with so many things in my 20s. It is so easy to neglect your health, and most people in their 20s do not give a hoot about their health. Especially people from my generation never gave a hoot about their health. The only constant for people in their 20s when I was in my 20s was drinking, partying every night, going out with friends and drinking some more. And while a part of that is absolutely all right, it is so easy to neglect your health when you are busy building your career or when you're busy building your social life. But investing in your physical and your mental health now will pay off in the long run. Start by eating right, exercising regularly, and getting enough sleep. It's just these three basic things. Also, don't forget to manage stress and practice mindfulness. Your body and your mind are what will carry you through your life. Prioritize them in your 20s. You do not want to wake up one day wishing that you had taken better care of yourself. The amount of knowledge and life experience that you can accumulate just by reading is insane. There are so many experts who have gone through all parts of the human experience before us, and reading what they have to say makes us a lot better prepared to face life, even if you are only able to apply 1% of that knowledge. And it does not just mean self-help or non-fiction books. Make time for reading on any topic that interests you, even if it has nothing to do with your career. I read about space, deep ocean, and I've been doing this for years. It is completely fascinating. I also like to read about engineering design. Again, it's nowhere close to what I'm doing in life, but accumulating knowledge and reading from different sources helps you with better reasoning, with improving articulation, with improving communication, and so many other skills. Reading has a profound impact on almost every single area of your life. The more you read, the better you get at life. Remember that. A lot of us, when we get some freedom after leaving school, we become very mindless with how we spend our time. And this actually becomes a very deeply ingrained habit very, very quickly, right? Which is why a lot of people, when they start working, when they start to get serious about their jobs, they have a very tough time managing their time. And that sets you up for failure in the long term. Time is your most precious resource. And in your 20s, if you learn how to manage your time well, it is a game changer for your career, for your personal life, because it's so easy to get caught up in distractions and feel like you're constantly busy without making any real progress. But starting to prioritize your time, starting to manage your time will help you understand what truly matters. You will be able to work on your goals. You will be able to take time out for yourself. You will be able to do all the things that you want to do without going crazy. All your relationships, both personal and professional, depend on your ability to communicate well. And hardly anybody knows how to do this well. A lot of people appear rude, unruly. A lot of people seem to lack clarity, not because they have or do all of those things, but because they do not know how to communicate. They don't know how to communicate what they're feeling. They don't know how to communicate what they want. They don't know how to communicate in professional settings, in personal settings. It is a nightmare. I work with people who come off as snobbish and rude because of how they speak and write. And that's not what you want, because nobody will want to work with you or be with you if you don't know how to communicate. How do you improve your communication skills? I am going to make a dedicated video on this in October probably, but for now, focus on these 3 things: listening actively, being respectful, and thinking before you speak or write. If you are always the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. It might sound intimidating, but nothing will make you learn faster than being around people who have already achieved what you want to achieve. And being in a space where you are constantly learning from others, whether it's about business, life, new perspectives, it forces you to level up. It's uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is where the real growth happens. That's how you evolve into the best version of yourself. How can you do this? Take up internships at reputed places, or even jobs where you know you are going to be with people who have achieved a lot of what you want to achieve. Be in close contact with people who are 5, 10, 15 steps ahead of you, and your growth will skyrocket like this. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go further, go together. Everything you want to do in life is dependent on the people around you. If you are constantly disinterested, disengaged, and in competition with other people, your life is going to get a lot harder, my friends. So much harder. So learn to become curious about other people, to treat them as allies, as friends instead of enemies. Because genuine curiosity about their life, their roles in society, their challenges, and how they have handled it will make you a better ally for them, will make you much better connections in life. Focus on making friends, not just building your network, and focus on how you make people feel, not just how they make you feel. People are going to be your biggest asset moving forward. And if you can learn how to navigate your relationships, you're going to become unbreakable. Many people struggle in silence, thinking that they have to figure everything out on their own. But the truth is that nobody succeeds alone, like we have already established. Whether it's advice from a mentor, feedback from a peer, guidance from someone who has been where you have been, seeking help is not a weakness. It's actually a sign of strength, because it shows that you know where you lack strength and you are willing to work on it. Do not let pride or the fear of looking inexperienced stop you from reaching out and seeking guidance. The right guidance can save you time, it can help you avoid mistakes, and it can push you so much further than you can go alone. Speaking about seeking guidance from other people, a lot of the times in life, I have come across people who just keep waiting for feedback, who will never proactively go out of their way and seek feedback on the work that they have done. Waiting for feedback only limits your potential. When you're proactive, when you seek out constructive criticism, you learn what is working and what is not working very, very quickly. And it gives you insight into how to make meaningful changes. It helps you identify your blind spots. A lot of the times, we don't know where we are going wrong. Feedback helps you correct that. Be responsible for the things that you are doing. A lot of the times, people get into situations, they will get into relationships, into professional commitments where they are half-hearted about it, right? Most people do this, and they feel like the results, whatever they're doing, is not their responsibility. It is the responsibility of someone else. They will try to shift the blame. They will try to shift the responsibility altogether. And that not only makes you less credible it actually makes you unwilling to learn from your mistakes. It makes you unwilling to give in 100% to the things that you are doing. And if you continue down that road, you are always going to be mediocre. You are never going to be the person who reaches the top because you were never willing to invest 100% of yourself into that thing. Accountability and ownership is such a great skill to have. It is such an important skill to have, and not enough people in the world have it. So many people ask me in DMs, on comments, how do you do this? How do you be on social media? Are you not concerned about what your parents are going to say? Honey, if I would have let that stop me, would I be able to be where I am today? No, right? You need to embrace the cringy stuff in your life if you really want to grow. We all have moments where we feel awkward, we feel uncool, we feel embarrassed. But if you embrace those and you continue to do the work despite feeling all of those feelings, you become a lot better at life. Growth comes from discomfort. And if you are always playing it safe, you are going to hold yourself back. Your 20s are supposed to be the time where you take the most amount of risk, because you have time to recover from that risk if things don't work out in your 30s and your 40s. And you have the power to steer your life in any direction. Only one risk has to pay off for you to catapult to success. It is scary, it's intimidating, but that is exactly why it's important. Embracing cringe is proof that you're trying, that you're learning, that you're pushing past your comfort zone. The sooner you accept it, the faster you will grow. Many people downplay their talents. They stay quiet in rooms where they should be speaking up. And you might do this to avoid judgment. You might do this to avoid criticism. You might avoid doing this because you don't want to make other people feel comfortable. Maybe you fear coming off as arrogant or whatever it is, right? Shrinking yourself, playing small, does not serve you or anyone around you. The truth is that playing small only keeps you stuck. It limits the value that you bring to others. And that way you will never be respected. People respect those who confidently own their strengths, who confidently own their weaknesses. If you continuously keep hiding your strengths and your weaknesses, you are never going to grow. You're only holding yourself back from opportunities and the recognition you deserve. Imposter syndrome is that nagging feeling that you do not belong, that you are not qualified enough, that sooner or later people are going to figure out that you're a fraud. I have dealt with this so much. It is so common. But you need to remember that imposter syndrome is not how other people see you, it's how you see yourself. And most people will deal with imposter syndrome by just avoiding doing the work, by avoiding the opportunities in the first place, by staying in their comfort zone. But in all honesty, the only way to overcome your imposter syndrome is to take action, to keep showing up even when you doubt yourself. And over time, your results actually speak louder than your insecurities. The more you prove to yourself that you can do it, the quieter that voice of self-doubt becomes. We often hesitate when it comes to going after what we truly desire because we are afraid of the sacrifices and the discomfort and the hard work that is going to be involved. But the truth is, nothing worth having comes easy. You may need to give up short-term pleasures. You may need to work longer hours, step outside of your comfort zone. It's not about being ruthless, but about staying focused and doing whatever it takes to reach your goals. People who succeed are the ones who are willing to do what other people are not willing to do. This is a part of stepping outside your comfort zone, obviously, because by putting your work out there, you are opening yourself up to other people's opinions, their criticisms, their 2 cents. But that is exactly why you need to do it. Most people are just too afraid. They want to remain hidden all of their life. And that is exactly how you fade into oblivion. If you want to have a fulfilling life, if you want to have a fulfilling career, you need to show your work. It builds your personal brand. It makes you visible to people who potentially will want to work with you. It also helps you receive helpful feedback that you otherwise will not get. And when people are invested in your journey, that helps you build a great network of collaborators, of supporters over time. You should read this book called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon, and everything that I'm saying here will make 100% sense. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you think that you can be clumsy and lazy with everything except your work, that is not how it actually works. Building a great work ethic, building commitment to the task at hand and completing that task to the best of your ability, this will attract success to you. It will attract the right kind of network for you. It will make you a finisher. So many people I know are not finishers. They just take on something, they leave it midway, and then they're done with it for life. But is that really how you succeed? It is so weird, but in our 20s, we are riding this weird ego high. 20-year-olds are the most egoistic people I know. I was so egoistic when I was in my 20s. Even though we think we know everything about the world, in reality, we don't know anything. But that mindset makes us very reluctant to seek help or to seek advice or to admit that we don't know something. But as surprising as it may sound, admitting that you don't know something is actually a great sign of strength. It signals that you are open to learning, that you are letting your ego go, you're not letting your ego get in the way, and that opens doors to new opportunities like nothing else. Now, because in our 20s we have such a high ego, we think we know everything. When things don't go our way, that hurt, that loss feels so personal. It attacks our ego more than anything in the world. And if that's happening, that's a great way to remind yourself that it's probably not about you. Sometimes people say or do things for their own reasons, and it does not necessarily reflect your worth or your abilities. The sooner you understand this, the quicker you will reach a Zen state of mind, the quicker you will have more peace of mind. The exception to this is probably relationship, because there are two parties involved and the decision making of either party impacts the other party as well. But in most cases, people are doing things not because of you, but because of their own selves. I was recently listening to this podcast by Dr. Huberman, where he's talking about increasing the brain's willpower and tenacity. And one of the key points he makes is when you do hard things, it actually improves your willpower and your tenacity. Our brain has this center called the anterior midcingulate cortex, which is linked with building more willpower. And it can actually be strengthened by doing hard things. The more you do difficult things, the things that you perceive as difficult, the stronger that center of the brain becomes. You're actually training your brain to be more resilient. And the more you do this in your 20s, the easier life becomes in your 30s and your 40s. Trust me. A lot of conditioning in Indian societies is that you need to get married and start having kids all before you would turn 30, because 30 के हो जाओगे तो उसके बाद तुमसे शादी कौन करेगा और हाय इतने बड़े हो गए and all of that jazz. But there was this research done recently, I will try and link it somewhere here, where it was found that people who get married in their 30s or get married late in life tend to have better marriages, tend to also have longer marriages. You know, the instances of divorces in such people actually go down. I think that's a great marker that suggests that when you are mature enough to take these life decisions, that is when you should do so. The concept of settling down should not be for your 20s. Your 20s are your time for exploration, for self-discovery, not for rushing into major life decisions. This is the time where you truly try and understand what you want out of life, and don't just jump into something and then regret it later on. That's not what you want to do. So even if your elders are pressuring you into getting married or into, going and doing this thing or settling down in your 20s, especially in your early 20s, you need to sit down and have a conversation with them. I think this is the best thing that I have done in life, is to not get married and to not take this thing lying down in my 20s and actually wait till I am this age to be in a major relationship, in serious relationships, and to actually take that plunge where I'm deciding, yes, I want to get married. It is so easy in your 20s to get swept up in a new relationship, especially because for a lot of people, this will be their first or maybe their second relationship, things that feel like true love, because you become deeply invested in the other person. But losing yourself in the process, sacrificing your identity, your goals, your individuality, can be such a deterrent, can harm you so much in the long run. In your 20s, you need to spend time figuring out what a healthy relationship actually is. A healthy relationship is one that complements who you are. It does not consume you. It does not make you abandon your passions, your hobbies, or your friendships for the sake of the relationship. It helps you maintain your independence. It helps you grow while growing together, right? And it's an important part of your 20s. Your relationships are going to be very, very important in building the person that you are. But at the same time, it's very important for you to maintain your own sense of identity and sense of self. Do not sacrifice that for the sake of your relationship. If I knew this in my 20s, I would have taken a lot more risks than I actually did. I would have experimented so much more than I actually did. I still did a lot, but I think I would have gone way out of my comfort zone to experiment, to take risks, if I knew that failure was helping me grow. Failure is your superpower. It's also a natural part of life. It's a stepping stone to success, right? A failed relationship, failed friendships, a failed career choice, anything, it's not the end of the world. It actually teaches you what you're probably not good at, where you are lacking, what you need to improve, all of those things, right? Instead of viewing it as a roadblock, start viewing your failures as opportunities, and that will just skyrocket your growth. These will eventually become your North Star, your moral compass, which guides you through your life's decisions. It's very important to have your unique experiences, but it's also crucial to figure out what kind of person you want to become. And that starts in your 20s. With every decision that you make, you need to figure out whether that sits morally right with you. Are you going to be able to live with that decision 10 years down the line? And that's a great way to check in with your North Star. And that is how you cement your belief system. That is how you cement your moral values and your ethics. Being a good person is very important. And another part of this, of building your ethical, high ground, your moral high ground, is also to unlearn things that don't sit right with you, to unlearn behaviors, to unlearn conditioning that does not align with your future self and your value system. When you are trying to build this moral, ethical standpoint for yourself, this North Star for yourself, when you're trying to figure out what you think is right in society and what is wrong, you will need to unlearn so much of the conditioning that has happened for you in the last 20-25 years. This will probably require you to go against what society thinks is right, against what sometimes your parents might think is right. But you need to take those risks, because unless you do, you're not going to figure out what is actually right for you. Money can solve so many of your problems, but we are so often fed the narrative that money is evil or it changes you, that you shouldn't chase material things, chase meaning and spirituality, all of that stuff. And that's completely bullshit. Do not shy away from chasing financial success. So many people on the Girl Talk videos that I do, they comment, "Oh my God, you need so much money. Step one of this self-care thing should be that earn money." Yes, earn money. Who is stopping you? Why are you not earning money? Why are you holding yourself back? Why don't you want to go after financial success? Money literally gives you the freedom to live life on your own terms. It can remove a lot of your unnecessary stress. Why are you not focusing on building streams of income? If you do that, you can actually focus on what truly matters without worrying about where your next paycheck is going to come from. Please make financial literacy and earning money a non-negotiable in your 20s. If you learn how to do this one thing, 80% of your life problems are gone. Financial literacy is essential for everyone, regardless of their age or income level. In fact, the first thing that you should do after you have gotten your education is to figure out how you can make money. Start by creating a budget. Start by tracking your income and your expenses. Get a clear picture of where you stand financially and how you can improve your financial life. I have already made one video on this topic, so you can go check it out here. I'll also be making another video on investments, etc., how I do that for myself pretty soon, and then you guys can check that out second. Now, this is just as crucial as learning how to make money, how to build those skills that will make you money. You need to know how to stop trading time for money. Most of us are fed the same bullshit, right? पढ़ाई करो, job पकड़ो, 60 तक job करो, and then retire. And वो job पे तुम्हें जो पैसा मिलेगा, मिलेगा, right? But if you really want to live your best life, if you really want to be financially independent, if you want to have the ability to make your own financial decisions, you need to build wealth. And many of us are trapped in that cycle of of trading your time for money, which is working a long hour job or working long hours for a very fixed income, which incrementally increases every year, but it's nearly not enough to make you wealthy. It's a necessary step in life. Having a job is necessary. I'm not saying आज job छोड़ के और बैठ जाओ घर पे या आज job छोड़ के और freelance कर लो या YouTube कर लो. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean to say is that you need to figure out how you can fast track your success, even if you're in a job. How can you ensure that you are not being paid for your time, like you're not a gadha mazduri employee, but you are being paid for the value that you deliver, for the work that you bring to the table, the money that you bring to the table. And that is a very, very essential skill. If you want a detailed video on this topic, let me know, and then we'll consider making that next. Happiness is a very complex emotion, and it doesn't come from a single source. Most of us are made to feel like the only thing worth chasing in life or worth going after in life is happiness. But the more you chase happiness, the more it eludes you, the more it runs away from you. It's also a fleeting feeling. You're not going to be constantly happy all of the time. So a better compass to guide you is to chase or to pursue the feeling of fulfillment. What inherently makes you feel satisfied? Everything that you do in life, every relationship that you have, make this your North Star instead of happiness, and you'll make much better decisions in life. It will teach you how to balance your work, your life, what to seek out in relationships and in work, and that will make you a much more content person as you move forward. Therapy is such a powerful tool for working through your roadblocks, your trauma, for gaining a better understanding of yourself. It provides a safe space, a supportive space to explore your own thoughts and feelings. Therapy is not just for somebody who is mentally unwell. Therapy is for anyone who wants to improve their life, right? It can help you identify patterns of behavior, the root causes of your struggles, and it can help you develop healthy coping mechanisms. If you do this in your 20s, by the time you're in your 30s, in your late 30s, you become a much more emotionally mature adult. You develop a strong sense of self. You start to create a life that is fulfilling and enjoyable rather than just chasing after fleeting things. Therapy should be non-negotiable. As harsh as that sounds, it is absolutely true. Waiting for somebody to fix your problems or to show you the way will keep you stuck for a lot longer than if you were to just start taking action. Whether it's a tough situation, whether it's a challenge, if it's a goal that you're trying to reach, the only person who is responsible for making it happen is you. No one is going to come in and magically do it for you on your behalf. They can guide you, they can probably nudge you in a particular direction, but they can't come and take action for you that creates change. You need to be the one who shows up for yourself. You need to be the one who pushes through their obstacles. You need to be the one who takes control of their own lives. It's about realizing that you are your own hero. You are the main character of your life. If you're not taking action like a main character, how are the main character moments going to happen to you? As we come to the end of this video, one thing I really want you guys to understand is that in your 20s, it feels like every decision, every single thing that you're doing is going to matter a lot. But in reality, that is not the case. Some things are going to matter more than others. Some things are not going to matter at all. So whatever decision you're taking, whatever change you're wanting to make, just ask yourself whether this is going to matter in 10 years or not. If it's not going to matter in 10 years, if it's not, there's no point sweating the small stuff. Your 20s are your time for growth, your exploration, taking risks, making the most of your time to figure out who you want to be in the future. If something doesn't align with your future, that should not hold you back. That decision should not occupy a lot of your mental space. And that was it. I am once again putting everything on screen. Here are the 30 points that we covered in today's video because somebody asked me to do a recap at the end of each video. So here it is. And if you enjoy this video, make sure you press that thumbs up because that really helps it reach the right people. And let me know in the comments which piece of advice out of these was the most profound or the most helpful for you. And I'm gonna see you guys very, very soon in the next one. Also, don't forget to check out this video next because YouTube says you're gonna love it. Bye.